folks who wanted to be here. And we're just going to move into some ritual. And I explained that we'll do this first. Some people need to leave, and then those who can stay somewhat longer will have time to check in and maybe do a little Hanukkah learning. So I'm going to start this honoring this memory time with Psalm 30, which, as you may know, is part of our everyday liturgy, weekday liturgy, and just about every liturgy. Psalm 30 is a powerful psalm. So just invite you to keep moving if you want to. You don't have to become static. You can move with these words as well. Witness the words with your body. And this is Norman Fisher's interpretive translation. I will lift you up as you have lifted me, up from my oppressors, that they might not rejoice at my lowliness. In my crying out to you, I was healed. You raised up my soul from the depths, repaired my wings, that I should not go down to the pit of despair. All who live in gratefulness sing thanks to remember your holiness. For though your anger flashes out suddenly, your hands are gentle. They hold all of life. In the evening, weeping comes, and it remains for a night, but with the morning light comes joyful song. When all was well with me, I said, I shall never be shaken. For your favor made me mountain firm. But then you hid from me when I was terrified. Now I call out to you with these words, meeting you in my spoken humility. What profit is there in my blood when I go down to the grave? Will the dust speak your praises? Will it strain like me to utter your truth? You have changed my grieving into dancing, thrown off my mourning clothes and dressed me in joy, so that my whole being might sing to you without ceasing, pouring out my gratitude without end. So Eileen Ava Serlin, just a few words about her. She was one of three sisters, triplets, born in the Bronx on the same day, September 18th, 1948. Barbara, Erica, whom everyone calls Ricky, and Eileen, whom everyone called Lenny. The family moved to Long Island when the girls were 3 years old. Both Barbara and Erica have beautiful voices. Eileen was the dancer. So you can read, as was said at the funeral, which was exactly 4 weeks ago today, you can read about Eileen's background, her resume online. I'll just say a few words to remind us what a formidable person was in our midst. Can you hear me? Yeah? Okay. Dr. Eileen Serlin was a clinical psychologist and registered dance movement therapist, founder and director of Union Street Health Associates and the Arts Medicine Program at California Pacific Medical Center. She was a fellow of the American Psychological Association, past president and council rep of the Division of Humanistic Psychology of the American Psychological Association, and she was on the editorial boards of Arts in Psychotherapy, the American Journal of Dance Therapy, the Journal of Humanistic Psychology, and she has taught and published widely in the US and abroad. And she had many honors. She had a very integrative approach to doing psychotherapy and bringing the body in, and she specialized in doing trauma work with people around the world. She has published 3 full books and over 30 chapters in anthologies and scores of articles. And I'll just read you a couple of the titles to give you a sense of the scope of her articles. As these are all from 2023 and 2022, and it goes back many years. But dance movement therapy with Chinese counselors, against hate, against anti-Semitism, Abraham Maslow as a Jewish prophet, dance movement therapy crossing cultural and professional bridges, I am my own egg, reflections on the development of a woman humanistic psychologist. Is trauma actually stored in our hips? And on and on. So I wanted just to say that a lot of the funeral, and maybe you were able to attend on Zoom, but the family spoke about their relationships and how close they were and how involved, and Eileen was the family. And her sister Barbara owns a showroom for fashion in New York City. Her sister Erica is married to Ken Kushner, somebody I went to junior high with outside Chicago. It was shocking when we met each other again. I just remembered him as he looked when he was 13. And Barbara and Erica are identical triplets. They came from the same egg, and Eileen was from a different egg. So that was the story of her life, of their life together. And you'll see in a moment that she was always kind of trying to pull her sisters into more spirituality and more embodiment. And they were kind of like, but we did have a wonderful occasion of their 70th birthday. And Eileen had invited me to work with her on co-creating a ritual that would include the 3 sisters. And they were reluctant, but they went along, and it was quite beautiful at their home in Mill Valley. See if there's anything else I want to say. Just that Eileen initiated and anchored the Rosh Chodesh group at Kol Shofar, her synagogue, where she became very involved, and she was always trying to bring movement there. And even many years ago, before there was an embodying spirit, she was tugging on me to come out there and lead a little movement or lead the Rosh Chodesh group. And we knew each other that way. And so her actual Shloshim is Tuesday, which is Rosh Chodesh. So I'm going to show a little slideshow of some pictures, and then we'll have time to share stories. Yeah.
Could you tell us, how did you first meet her?
Well, I'm not exactly sure that I remember our first meeting, but I'll just say when I was in school in Los Angeles, I led a regular body mind centering study group for like 5 or 6 years while I was in school. And one of the people in that group, Bertie Klein, said to me at one point, there's really someone you should meet. She's a mover and a shaker. And that's how I first heard about Eileen. And I was a little intimidated when I, heard about who she was. And she was not like that at all. And I'm not sure how she found me, but I think she actually reached out. And anyway, we got together, and I remember a long walk we took with another friend and lots of talking, and just the years of wanting to bring her Judaism and her synagogue community and her healing work and the embodiment work together to make an integration. So here are the slides, and just invite you again, you can dance with this, you can breathe with this. I'm going to share the screen here. Make sure I shared that properly. Try once more. Yeah, okay. There. All right. Here we go.
Così rivaya
Mm. So, just wanted to open up the space now for some sharing. And, some of you have things to share and some of you have to leave very soon. If you want to share first, I don't know, Latifah, if you have anything you wanted to share. Let's see if I can invite you to unmute.
Thank you. I was having trouble unmuting. First, I just want to say hi to everyone and sorry I have to run off. I've been making potato latkes. I'm going to a Hanukkah party with seniors that I'm running in about half an hour. But I remember Eileen as having a lot of joy and energy, and the photos that you showed, Diane, were so beautiful and just brought her back to me so strongly. And I also remember that every year at Rosh Hashanah, she would send out these emails and they would remind me of her. And I'd say, oh, right, Eileen. And I was just sad to hear that she had died. And I don't have a lot of memories, just a memory of her essence and her sense of joy and energy. So thank you. And I'm going to be dashing off pretty soon, but it's good to see all of you.
Thank you for coming, and it's been wonderful to have you here with us today. And Hag Sameach, and may all your latkes be crisp. There's nothing worse than a soggy latke. I don't know. Yeah, so thank you. And we'll just go around. Maybe when you're moved, you can just indicate or unmute, and we'll pass it around and do our sharing. We'll be ending this this little ritual together with prayers, the traditional prayers. So this is our time to have memories.
May I? Well, Eileen and I were colleagues in a way, like psychologists, trauma specialists, using the body in different ways, but very much connected to the Gestalt work. And so we shared some of our movement, like what is it to be a teacher, or to write articles and be listen inwardly and at the same time be accepted. And then she shared, I remember that she said, I was always seen as a tomboy, like more masculine than feminine. And when I met her, she just had started her family life with Jeff and being more a wife and a family woman. So that was quite new and courageous. And also in our cohort, her spiritual background was not so coming from her inner prayer life. So she wasn't so at home yet with all what I would call Jewishing. So there again, she had a lot of courage to try to do the Rosh Chodesh group, because she had all the skills, but she didn't have any. She didn't even know the book of Miriam's well. So I was part of her helping, getting the sources and the courage to bring in more Torah or more prayer quality. So I wish I would know how the Rosh Chodesh group did go in the future. I lost her there. I don't know. Then another part, what for me is the most important in my memory, is when we were dealing with our birth parasha. I remember Eileen expressing her part as having to remember Amalek. And she was there like a warrior, like in a dense position, fighting. So I heard her roar. I never forget, I was shocked almost about the power coming from her. And at the same time, realizing the last picture I have of her, that she joined one of our reunions, and she was there for just a little bit because she said she had to go or sleep or digest because she felt so shocked and attacked in her dance community and international community. And I remember her face and her shockedness, like she was choked and her head cut off. So to me, I'm really very touched in a way by her death, because I feel like she had this fighting spirit, but somehow the demonic, hateful atmosphere was way stronger than she could deal with. So I'm so sorry for that she didn't have enough support, or it wasn't helped, or whatever. You couldn't deal with it. So in that sense, I came upon a poem by Amanda Gorman. You know her. She is the your American great poet. Poet. Where do I go? So sorry. I need to read it. And it's so beautiful with words. I wish that Eileen could hear them too, and that we all could have regained the power of expressing our truth through the throat and connecting head and heart. So I'll read it and I will send it later. Oh, wait. Wait. Oh, I need to read it. Technology. May this be the day we come together, mourning, we come to mend. Withered, we come to weather. Torn, we come to tend. Bettered, we come to better. Tethered by this year of yearning, we are learning that though we weren't ready for this, we have been readied by it. We steadily vow that no matter how we are weighed down, we must always pave a way forward. This hope is our door, our portal. Even if we never get back to normal, someday we can venture beyond it, to leave the known and take the first steps. So let us not return to what was normal, but reach toward what is next. What was cursed, we will cure. What was plagued, we will prove pure. Where we tend to argue, we will try to agree. Those fortunes we forswore, now the future we foresee. Where we weren't aware, we are now awake. Those moments we missed are now these moments we make. The moments we meet and our hearts, once all together beaten, now all together beat. Come, look up with kindness yet, for even solace can be sourced from sorrow. We remember, not just for the sake of yesterday, but to take on tomorrow. We heed this old spirit in a new day's lyric. In our hearts, we hear it. For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne, be bold, sang time this year. Be bold, sang time. For when you honor yesterday, tomorrow you will find. Know what we have fought, need not be forgot, not for none. It defines the birds as one. Words by Amanda Gorman. I will send it later to all of you.
Thank you, Carola. That was perfect. Perfect. Right. Yeah. And I'll just say I didn't have any pictures of her and Jeff that I could find easily, but she and Jeff came together late in life, and he had grown children, and then they had grandchildren that she was so involved in their lives. And it was very clear at the funeral how much they revered her and loved, and she loved to be present with them and play and all of that. So yeah, if I can find a picture of Jeff, I know I've received them on some of the cards, and maybe you have two in their travels together. Thank you, Carola. That was beautiful. Okay, so continuing. Anyone like to jump in? Yes, Yosa.
Well, I think you all know from my email how close I felt towards her. And maybe you can see this photograph. See that? I took it while she was driving me from one of the retreats we had. And I don't know which one, but I was wondering if anybody recalled from our cohort the spiral that she created having to do with her birthday. Maybe it had to do with the birth parsha. Do you remember, Diane? She created maybe with scarves on the floor, and it was early in our retreat. It might have been the first or the second one. She created the spiral on the floor, and she said a few words, and it again, I had to do with her birthday, which was around September. So it was that retreat. And I was wondering if anybody recalled it, and what her connection was to the spiral. What did she say? Maybe if you think of it later, you can let me know. I have so many memories of her because she opened up to me. I, like you, Diane, was very intimidated when I first saw her or met her. It was at the first cohort, and we were all sort of introducing ourselves, and then we got involved in some sessions, and I was taken aback because she is so much. She's really so much, and she doesn't hide it. And yet she doesn't. It's very positive. There's nothing negative about how she would talk about herself in terms of being, an egotist or somebody who's so high up, But what she was talking about herself was so incredible to me. She had so many facets, and I found out later she didn't sleep much. She did a lot of her writing in the middle of her night, and she lived with very little sleep. And that's how she was able to accomplish so much, frankly. So I got over my intimidation because I told myself, and I don't know if I told you, Diane or Carola, that this woman, Eileen, she really kind of like put me off. I was just so in awe, and she was just had so many facets that I had to overcome. And I remember I said to myself, I just, I've got to make the first move. She's not going to make the first move. I need to, and I'm grateful, so grateful. I don't have words to say because she rescued me. One before one cohort, I was very, very depressed, and I don't know how I made it to the retreat, but I did, and she picked me up at the airport, and she just helped me a lot. She gave me a lot of emotional support, um, and yeah, so yeah, it was very hard, and it still is, to realize that she's gone because we had a phone relationship. We would call each other. It usually would take 2 or 3 times. And um, yeah, I don't know, is death always so abrupt? We had talked in the early fall, and she knew I was going to Paris, and she left me a message. She wanted, when I wanted to hear my experience, and we never had that conversation. So I did share with you all, if you want it, I am willing to share it. In March of this year, I had shoulder surgery and I could not sleep much at all. And I asked her to make a video meditation, sleep meditation for me, and she did, and it's in video, so you can see her. It's very short. So if you'd like it, just email me and I will figure out how to get it from my phone to you. It's it's a little personal, just in terms of her name to me. She names me in the beginning, but it's a lovely meditation, and she said it's one of her favorites that she would do herself. Um, so that's it. I do want to hear from other people your memories. So thank you.
Thank you, Yosa. Yes. I don't know if you all remember, but our retreat schedule would start with before breakfast with outdoor under the redwoods when we were at the Bosch Baha'i Center, and it was in the dark in the fall. We would find our way there, and gradually the light would start to appear, and so she could never make it. I mean, I don't think she usually got up until 11, but I think she missed a lot of the earlier parts of the morning parts of the retreat. So here is Pinchas is with us and joining us in some way, and we'll just carry on. Yeah, Julie.
Thank you, Diane. Hello, everybody. Hello. Well, I send you lots of love. I live in Boston area, and that's where I first got to know Eileen. Eileen lived here, and we had many different relationships. In fact, I'm going to pause because I would like to find a movement for her. Lift this up. Yeah, feel better starting now. Eileen was my therapist for a couple sessions. Then we worked at the same place. It was a treatment center for nuns and priests in this area. And then she became my supervisor. We only had a couple of sessions, so I felt the sense of intimidation. I understand this. There was her body and her life in her body changed from this time I knew her in Boston to when then again I knew her in California. There was a verticality, there was a containment, a severity. Yeah. So this is my first knowing of Eileen. And we were dance therapists together. So there was a collegiality, but also a little power differential is what it felt like in me. And then when I came out to the time ESEB with you, here she was, and so different. The softening and the warmth, and where there had been this verticality, there was an all dimensionality, and we were so glad to see each other. And so there was a sense that I could bring more to her. I could be a teacher to her as she had been a teacher to me, and colleague. And then really the deepest part is that we became friends. And gosh, there was just, we became friends, but I just feel like there were all these things like doors that she would open about herself that I had not known. Some of that was her artwork, you know, the just beauty of her watercolors and her artwork. And I'm inspired by her now. Her global reach, her love that was able to reach through boundaries and needed to. The kavanah, her intention to share dance and movement, and the wisdom, the knowing and unknowing of the body through her work and across generations and across the world. So I loved her, and I still feel that love. And the last thing I want to say is to mention our friend Vivian Markhouse Spicer, who is a dear friend of Eileen, has recently written an article. Is like they were like twins in a way in their work, because Vivian does healing all over the world through the body, through dance. And she and Eileen were playmates together. So I just want to mention Vivian. Okay, thank you all. And thank you for the stories that I will hear and the stories I have heard.
Thank you, Julie. Yeah, that just felt so deep and embodied, your recollections, and so loving. Thank you. I want to welcome Pinchas joined us and Ahuva joined us. Just to let you know, we did the first part of our ritual. We saw a slideshow. It's recorded. You can look at it later. We're right now sharing memories of Eileen. And yeah, so who would like to speak? Mimi.
Hi, everyone. Oh, wow. I am so deeply touched by those of you who have known Eileen so much. And I didn't really know her very well, but we were able to tell each other through email. I only knew her through Zoom and emails. And I reached out to her one day because I was just so touched by what she had said on the screen and felt so connected to her. And we were able to tell each other that we both felt connected to each other. And I too share the body centered movement therapy, but it was the ecstatic dance. And when she talked about, just the movement and the work that she was doing in the temple, because that's so much a part of what I'm working on and working with. And I want to just lift up her generosity. She sent so many suggestions to me. She had one of her dance colleagues send a playlist. She was just so giving, and unfortunately, it was right before COVID, and so it never came to pass. But it, things I'm now going to take with me, her love of movement and spirit into the work that I'm doing. It's just so clear to me. I found the playlist. It took me a while. And for an hour, I danced in my house to the movement that I knew that she had moved to. And it was so enlivening and enriching. And I wanted to you may know this song, it's very short. I don't know the tune, but I was just so struck. It was almost to the end. And I just thought I would share it. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than whole? How could anyone ever fail to notice that your loving was a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul.
I've been blissfully unaware of the going on.
Thank you, Mimi. See you there, Pinchas. Yeah, it was beautiful. So many more memories are coming back as people are talking, and just wanted to say something about Eileen brought ecstatic dance to Marin. Also, she brought it just before COVID. She was starting to bring it to the synagogue, and then it did a series at the JCC in Marin. But that first dance was just when COVID was starting, and some of us were a little bit protective and had masks on, and she brought Carla de Sola to guide us. And Eileen was so honoring of her teachers and of Carla de Sola as one of the grandmamas of sacred dance in this country. And I had never met her, even though she teaches at GTU, and we stood in this big circle, and there was no consciousness about COVID at that point. And Carla said, hold hands, and everyone was like, some of us were, but it was a beautiful evening nonetheless. And Bert came with me and waited out in the lobby with Jeff, with some of the guys out there while we were doing the sacred dance. Okay, more sharings.
So it's beautiful hearing these stories about the connections that Eileen created. And I wish that I had more opportunity to be with her, but I felt so connected with her. And I wanted to just share an experience from the cohort where we were moving to the story about Jacob and Esau's birth and the wrestling. And she and I had this incredible wrestling match, which I can't even describe. It was so visceral because she's maybe a little bit smaller than me, but she was so strong. And maybe because she had two sisters, she was used to wrestling. But man, she just took me to the mat, and I got to feel the experience of really pushing to get someone in a playful way, in a loving way, and it just bonded us and I don't even know how to describe. And so that even though we had brief encounters, throughout the years, I always felt um, I always felt her loving connection and her presence, and I just honor the work that she's done, and just, I mean, who she is an amazing person, and it's grateful that I got to know her, and I'm sad for her loss, and it was one of those things I always thought, well, I'm gonna go visit, and it's one of those that never happened. Um, but she, to me, is an inspiration, and I experienced her in some ways as really humble for all that she was. I mean, I had no idea who she was, so maybe that allowed me to just experience her, um, you know, panim al panim, and not feel the greatness of who she was. I mean, as I got to know her, I understood, oh, wow, this is an amazing person. So I I just feel blessed to have known her and the connection that we had over the years. Thank you.
Thank you, Rhonda. I'm just aware as we're speaking that those of us who were in the first cohort had time in person with Eileen, Yehudis. She went through a few stages with her name. And those of us in other cohorts only got to know her through some of the gatherings we've had on Zoom. And she led a couple of experiences for us that were quite amazing. Very much in that realm of dance movement therapy, but mixed with her cultural awareness. And yeah, I would agree, Rhonda, that here was somebody who, and also with you, Julie, that she softened a lot. And I think her relationship with Jeff and the family had a lot to do with that. And also, she was just really open to learning, and her all of her experience as a teacher and a facilitator of people in other cultures, that she really knew how to lift people up and um, and make you feel like you have something so precious to offer the world. That was part of her, who she was as a person, and the skills that she cultivated.
I just wanted to share for a minute. My family has been here for a week and is about to leave, and so I'm only going to be able to stay on for a little while. But when I found out that Udit had passed, I can't remember if you said or we, I don't know. In any case, that we were going to do something with movement, and that maybe we would have some gestures. And there were two gestures that I got that night. And one was a reaching up like this, which you can't see my hands, but my hands like all completely as far as you can reach, reaching up. And then the other was from standing, just with my hands kind of like this, like everything is okay the way it is. It's okay. And I have this little memory of her when we were doing this Hanukkah thing, and I did "Come on, baby, light my fire," and and we were all dancing around like crazy. And I just remember, having a couple of encounters with her in that kind of wild, crazy moment, and uh, so I just appreciated her. She felt so grounded to me, and and I also felt like there was this big caring heart in there. And yeah, I'm just sad that on because I felt like she contributed to who she was and what she did in the world. It's just so impressive. And that we got to spend time with her. And I didn't spend a lot of time talking to her in a, getting to know you kind of a way, but I always felt her presence. And I had texted her when I heard the back hospital, and she just wrote something really sweet back, and I just thought that was just who she was. She always contributed or communicated in a way that you felt loved. So that's what I wanted to share, and I'm happy to see all of you, even if it's only for a few minutes.
Thank you, Ahuva. Thank you for the movement gestures. Maybe we'll all do that a little bit after we finish our sharings verbally. Thank you for bringing that, and Julie as well. Any more? Evelyn.
First, forgive me for the camera, and who knows what it's doing. I do need to replace it. I didn't know when I met Eileen, or most of you, that you were all super accomplished, brilliant women. I just didn't know that. I just didn't even pay attention, until people started, presenting ideas and talking about what they had done. And, it was extraordinary to find out about Eileen, because she was so loving and so present and so simple, even though none of that was the case. But that felt, yes, it was all the case. But in addition to that, she had this really complicated mind and all this work she had done. And so that kind of blew me away altogether. But my most striking memory of her, and I was reminded by your slideshow as well, was she was always gorgeous. She was always gorgeous with the jewels and the colors in the smile. And yes, I also remember her. We would all be wrecks from being up so early in the morning without coffee. Some of us, but having a wonderful morning. And then Eileen would appear like a flower, completely put together and beautiful and charming. And I thought, oh, who is this woman? It was only much later that I understood the important work that she was doing in the world, and how much writing she'd done, and that she was holding down a practice at the same time that she was doing all these myriad other things. And so just what an impressive thing. And the other thing, and I remember this about a few of you, and about myself, was just coming into Jewish identity as, a woman who, of our generation, who didn't have opportunities to actually come into a Jewish identity other than one that was of kind of servitude. So that was very beautiful to watch, that blossoming. And the name changes. These are all sort of, signs of the way in which you, Rabbi Diane, really invited us into a world that, in our lives, we had never been invited into, right? You stay home, make latkes. Oh, well, now Perry's making latkes, so it's perfect. But so I was very struck by that, by the sort of simplicity with which she presented and engaged, and at the same time this incredible, accomplished life. So really beautiful. I would love to sing El Male, but I will wait till when you suggest I should.
Yeah, we'll be doing that after everyone shares. I hope you can stay to do that. Yeah. And Rivka.
Thank you all so much for your sharing. I just feel like I've gotten to know Eileen, Yehudit, so much more through all your stories. And I was one of the cohort that met her online, and her beautiful, shining presence and generous, loving, everything that has been said. I also had an opportunity to connect with her through Julie Emden's Embodied Jewish Network. And I think there was one month where I was the like there would always be someone who'd present a little meditation, and then Julie, I think was not Julie, I'm sorry, and then Eileen did the larger thing, and that was my first inkling of the great scope of the work she had done. With your permission, what I would really like to do is I have a movement piece that's recorded that's only 2.5 minutes long that I made a year ago, November, as part of the Moedim L'Simcha project, one of my courses. But it's called Love Dance, and I was thinking about what could I offer to lift her up, and it's Ofra Hazaz's song to the Song of Songs. So I'll read the words in English, but it feels so much a tribute to her. So if that would be okay, Diane, the thing that will have to happen when I actually share screen and share it is you probably have to stop the recording because of the copyright issue of the song, but I will tell you when. So the words in English are, set me as a seal upon your heart, like the seal upon your hand, for love is fierce as death, passion is mighty as Sheol, its sparks are sparks of fire, a blazing flame. Great waters cannot extinguish love, nor rivers drown it. And being that it's Hanukkah right now, there's just a really sweet teaching from the 18th century Kabbalist, the Kedushat Halevi, who just talked about how the kindling of the Hanukkah candles gives us a resting place for love to enter. So, may this offering just really lift up Yehudit's spirit in a way that, everyone can rest in that, the sparks of her love that were so profound and so far reaching. So I'm going to share now and hopefully see if I can do that. And share sound. And yeah, and Diane, if you haven't stopped the record.
And Huss, did you want to share anything with us?
Thank you, Rabbi Diane, everyone else who's shared so beautifully. I only knew Eileen through the virtual nature of our community here, and don't feel inadequate to really express the fullness of this amazing human being. But I did want to share a few of the words that she shared with us and the places that she shared them with. Just going back through our emails for the last 4 or 5 years, I can go back all the way to 2019 and October 30th, when she shared one of my favorite songs, One Day, as part of when she was traveling in Jordan. And so the words she said were, hello, my dear Diane, can you please share this with her? I'm in Jordan now, much love, and we are okay. And then on a couple of years later, February 15th, in the before the February 27th, she said, "Wow, Rabbi, I'm so beautiful. We are leaving the next morning for Israel, so I don't know what our week's end will be, but I love to say goodbye at least. I'll keep you posted. May I share this poem with thanks to you on my carrying bridge. It is perfect." And so I think this was the poems. Anyway, I have something, the poem I found was actually from New Year's Eve of 2023. I don't know if you shared her Psalm 103 and such, so I will share her words because I think that's the most beautiful way to honor someone that's in their own creation. Please, God, help me open to the horrors and the faith. Where are you? I am old and feeble. Let me go to sleep. Where are you? Let me feel gently because I am old. Psalm 102. Oh God, hear my prayer. An owl among the ruins. Please, God, I can't do it alone. I can cry on behalf of all of us. Psalm 118. Not I, but we. I can gaze with stillness at those who hate me. It is better to trust in you than others. I am old and enfeebled. I can't do it alone. I can raise my voice holding hands with others. Not I, but we. Ask and beseech and cry and witness together as one. Not a lone soldier. Together we march for our lives, for our children. Lador vador, God, did you promise us generations? God, did you promise us generations? And I feel so inadequate to all of you in terms of movement. So the gift I've been given most of my life is music. So I'll share this simple song from my Tacoma Refugee Choir, which plays off of one of the lines that someone shared a little while back in this incredible honoring. May I be an opening. May you be an opening. May we be an opening of love. My humble tribute to Eileen.
Thank you so much. You reminded me, Pinchas, that Eileen Yehudit wrote those poems in response to the gathering that we had after October 7th, where we just did a Psalms journey. And each brought some of the Psalms and some quotes and then pieces of music for each one, because there didn't seem to be very many words that we could offer one another, but just to move together and to have some support from music. And then Eileen sent what you read to us, Pinchas, were her responses that she wrote after that journey that we took together. And I just wanted to mention another quality that's been implied but not exactly named is her quality of courage and how she approached this illness when she was first diagnosed 2.5 years ago. And the treatment was grueling, and she went through it with so much positivity and so much gratitude for all the people who were helping her, and almost a ritual holding of this treatment time. And as soon as she was done with the treatment and felt strong enough, she and Jeff were off to the Middle East. And she was planning, she had another trip on the docket, I think, back to China this fall. So it was so shocking for everyone, the family as well. And the last communication I had with her is I knew that she had been with us at our last gathering 2 months ago, and she had to leave early, and she was struggling with her voice. And we knew that she had had some recurrence of symptoms and was having trouble breathing and went in for tests. And the last thing I heard was, we're waiting for a treatment plan. that was like 9 days before she died. So the family was just really knocked off its feet too. Nobody was. And on the other hand, you could say that somebody who lived like this, to not linger and have to go through terrible treatment again, but it just let go. Maybe that was a gift, a kiss from God. I don't know. So thank you all. And I'm also just want to say I'm reminded of what an amazing and kind of miraculous, in the spirit of Hanukkah, miraculous vessel that we have created in this community. Whether we're in touch all the time or very sporadically, whatever, there's a way that we are holding one another in our consciousness and deepening together, even though we may not be doing it together, but we are, because each of us is deepening and growing so in our own lives and expanding our capacity. I can speak for myself, expanding my capacity to hold the challenges that seem to be coming faster and faster and thicker and nonstop, from both close, near in, and out in the world. So what an amazing gift that we give one another in our, yeah. So we'll move into El Malay, Mourner's Kaddish, and then I'm going to put on Shelley Weisenberg, La'ela, and we can move together and we can find our Yehudit dance together. And I was going to bring up El Malay on the screen so we could all see the words. Is that okay, Evelyn? Yeah.
I'm having to go, and I send you all so much love, and I will look at the recording later.
We love you.
Bye. Love you.
Bye. Bye. Huba, glad you were here.
And I'll leave after El Malay Rachamim.
Okay.
You're welcome to share the words, full well knowing that there are many different versions. And so I'll be singing my particular version.
That's why I asked you, but it's okay. I'll share them, and then we'll all just also have the English there.
It is nice to stand, I guess.
And I'll leave afterwards. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me see. Where is it?
Okay, I get.
Let's see here. Well, screen is paused.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, it's not wanting to do it, so
Well, then there you go.
we got our answer.
Male rachamim shochem b'mromim hamitzeh menucha nechona כנפי השכינה במעלות קדושים וטהורים כזוהר כי המזהירים את נשמת יהודי בת פייגלה בת אתל שחלכה לעולמי. ענה הבאה הרחמים, יסתירם בסתר, כנפיו לעולמים. יצרור ביצרור, חיים את נשמותיהם. אדוני הוא נחלתם, וינועו בשלום. משכבותם, ונאמר Amen. O God, full of mercy, who dwells on high, grant proper rest on the wings of the divine presence, on the wings of the Shekhinah, in the lofty levels of the holy and the pure ones who shine like the glow of the firmament. For the soul of Yehudit bat Feigele bat Etel, who went on to her world, may her resting place be in the Garden of Eden, and thereby may the Master of Mercy shelter her in the shelter of her wings for eternity. And may her soul be bound in the bond of life. Adonai is her heritage, and she will repose in peace in her resting place. And now we say, Amen.
Amen. So if you want to stay in a elevated posture, then we will say Mourner's Kaddish. I do want to see if I can try sharing again. I don't know why screen sharing is paused.
Maybe it's still with Rivka.
I withdrew it from Rivka. So let me try one more thing here. Okay. So let's just say Mourner's Kaddish together, and then I can share the music, and we'll have some time to move after we say Kaddish together, and then we'll come back together to close the ritual part of our time. So if you may want to just have a copy of Kaddish with you or say it by heart, and we'll unmute and say it together. We can hear each other's voices. Yikadal, Kadash,
Yikadash, Shmei Rabbah,
Realma,
Ve'alma, Devarach,
Hirute,
Te,
Ve'amli
Hayachom,
Chaye de
Echrit
Chol
Cholbeit,
Beit Yisrael,
Ba'agala,
Ba'agala,
Bagalal,
V'zman
Zman
Karev,
Kareem.
Ve'imru. Amen.
Amen.
Shmei Rabba,
Yehi Shem
Ba,
Rabba
ba,
Mevorach,
ba.
Leolam
Telam,
Ulalmei Almaya,
Me'amaya,
Yitbarach,
Barach,
Shtabach,
V'yishtabach,
Yishtabak,
Ba'ar,
V'yitpa'ar,
Yitba'ar,
V'yitramam,
Yitraman,
V'yitase,
Yitnase,
Levi,
V'tadar,
Yitadar,
V'yit'ale,
Dish,
V'yithalal,
Yitalal,
Shemei de
Shemei
Shemei
Kol,
Kudesha,
Dekusha,
Ninkol,
Bericha,
Tatam, Shiratam, Tushbachatam,
Shbechata,
Nechamatam,
Mata,
the Amir,
Amiran, Demaru.
V'imru. Amen.
Shalama,
יש למרבה
Rabas-
מן שמיים
Shemaya,
וחיים
Aye.
עלינו
Leinu.
ועל כל
Kol
ישראל
Yisrael.
וכל ישמעאל
Yisrael.
וכל יושבי תבל
Yoshveitiv.
ואמרו
Mama,
אמן.
Kuya Asisha,
עושה שלום ממרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום
Koyish,
עלינו ועל כל ישראל
Yisrael.
וכל יושבי
Mikol
תבל
Yishtabel.
וכל
Be
ישמעאל
Imru.
ואמרו
Imaru,
אמן.
Amen.
Amen.
May all who mourn among us, may all who mourn in the world be comforted. And may the souls of our beloved ones and the soul of our beloved Eileen receive an aliyah, an elevation, and may they be our advocates in other worlds in this time of challenge.
אמן.
Amen. So here is some music to sort of seal the deal and integrate a little bit and
זה בדיוק.
invite us to just let our bodies be permeated by all that we have shared and heard and felt.
יספרח ואיש טבח יספר ויסרמם ויסנסה ויסג'ר ויסעלה ויסעלל שבית קודשה Jush bechasa v'nechemasa Diamiran Dialeman Ve'imeru Amen Yisbarach ve'yishtabach Yisbar ve'yizramam ve'yiznaseh Yizadar ve'yizaleh Yizalal shemei dekudsha Jush bechasa v'nechemasa Diamiran Dialeman
Whoa, well, thank you all for being here to do this together. Thanks to the people who had to leave earlier, and thanks to the people who might be watching this on the recording. I also just want to acknowledge, for those of us still here, that the next time we get together, God willing, Rivka will be ordained as a rabbi. So I think this is
Mamish.
an opportunity to offer a little bit of blessing to you as you are getting to this part of your journey, which really, started before I ever knew you, with all of the teaching and working and training that you'd already done, and then coming into embodying spirit and just kind of step by step rolling along the path, or being pulled by uncontrollable whatever was pulling you forward, really wrestling with your own angels and demons and all the things that we know rise up to get in the way when we have begun to commit to a growth path, a spiritual expansion. So, is there anything you would like to share with us, or actually ask us for in the way of blessing?
Well, thank you, Diane. I didn't expect this, and I I'm still soaring with Yehudit's soul here. Yeah, wow. Um, each one of you has been part of this journey. And please know if you come to the ceremony and you don't see your name, like the thank you list, I kept going, oh my gosh, there's more people I need to thank. But you're all part of it. And and I'll just say to you, Diane, that when I met you in the summer of 2014 here in Oregon, which was it was the week that Reb Zalman died. And that calling, like you said, it just, I kept thinking it was satisfied through this program and that program. And then we sat and we talked, and it was just, you to meet a fellow dancer, choreographer, embodiment practitioner who became a rabbi, midlife, later in life, whatever, you became that role model for me, and much more. And so it's no small part, that this has happened because of our connection and the connection to all the embodying spirit cohort. So thank you from the depths, the deepest depths of my neshama. And the reason that I had finally decided to apply to the formal rabbinic program was because I really wanted to bring him, legitimize, that was the word, legitimize embodied practice in a Jewish way. And that's what we've all been doing. You do not have to be a rabbi to do it. But I somehow felt that that would give me some credentials to bring here to Portland. And so we'll see. We'll see. What do I need? um,
Your microphone is now on.
Yeah, I accidentally hit it. So Diane knows that after all the millions of courses I've taken, there was one credit that I had to complete, and this is kind of funny. Yeah, it's like the nesting dolls. And that's what my friend, I love that image, right? You think, oh, I'm done, and there's another one. So the credit but it was an independent credit. This is going to be funny, Intro to Jewish Mysticism. I've only been doing advanced stuff all these years. So, so anyway, but the papers coming, I mean, it's like all coming in, and Diane had actually I found actually a folder I already had with stuff you'd given me. We talked last week, and it's coming in, and it's all coming in. I mean, it's like all, it's actually really delightful. There's no accident that this is the last one for now. So I think just blessings for that final push. And I don't like to, but it's a birthing, right? So it's the blessings for the final push that not only does that get done, but there's a lot of thank yous. There's a lot of other preparations that are happening, so that there's just space for it all to happen between now and before January 12th, which is it's interesting because January, the Hebrew month of Tevet, is lined up. So it's the 12th of Tevet. It's the 12th of, at least here in the States, the 12th of Tevet and the 12th of January. And 12 is a very auspicious number in my life. It's also my 17th wedding anniversary with Alan. So that's enough, but there's a lot of 12. So yeah. So whatever blessing can come. Thank you.
Did you say that January 12th is your 17th wedding anniversary?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's my mother's birthday. It's both birthdays, death days, weddings.
Oh,
And now it's my ordination. It's, yeah.
well, let's all unmute and we can sort of popcorn it, but it'd be great to feel each other without our, without our mute things on. So
Mute things. Rivka, I want to bless you. Well, wait. I want to remember a moment. I think it was right after that 2015 deal in Oregon. And I saw you, maybe it was for High Holidays. Maybe I did High Holidays in Portland with Rabbi Yitz that year. And you were there doing wonderful things too, and doing movement things, like brave as hell, wonderful. and you said, I said, so what's next? And you said, oh, I now have an opportunity. I know where I'm going from here. And it was this wonderful opening, this wonderful moment. And I just remember your face and that moment and your weird shofar. And it was really, it's a very powerful memory for me, because it was like you just had turned on to, you knew this is what I'm going to do. And that was beautiful. And I think you had met Diane, and that was part of what was turning you on. But I want to bless you to be able to access in this wonderful time of life that inner strength, purpose, power, and prayerfulness that you have within you, that you carry around, that you share so lovingly and easily with all of us. You just are always there in this very prayerful state. But there's a funny way in which, when you're going to be sort of shining your light out there, it can escape. And so I want to bless you that you have a holding on to what it is that you really are, and that all of that comes across for you. And I am so excited to be able to be there and to witness you and to love you from afar, and know that we'll be holding you is it like in a network of love, and it's just very, very exciting. So that's all.
I just reminded me, I like to bless you with Reb Salman's Amidah affirmations, which I use each day. I made a commitment to myself to say it at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, just wherever I am or whatever. But I think you know it, but I'll hope to call out for you so that you feel, as Reb Salman said, I affirm the power of positive affirmations. I affirm that the Shekhinah surrounds me and blesses me, blesses you. I affirm the light beings of God's service who support and guide you. I affirm the blessings of Abraham and Sarah in your life, in my life, in our lives. I affirm the sacrifice of Yitzchak and God's power over my life, your life, our life, and death. I affirm God's holiness and my and your and our growth towards it. And I place myself under the protection of Keter, which will shield me from all harm and neutralize it. I invoke the inflow of Chokhmah, Ruach HaKodesh, to align my intellect, our intellect, with clarity and purpose for inspiration and realization. I invoke the care of Bina to lead you, me, us to God's heart. I invoke the abundance of Chesed to bring you and us to atonement. I invoke the power of Gevurah to see you, me, us through trouble and lead us to redemption. And I place myself, us, in the compassionate heart of God's Tiferet and affirm the healing, the balancing, the integrative centering, light, love within me. And I support myself on the pillar of Netzach, channeling to me all manner of blessing and prosperity, and place it at my disposal so that I can be of service of the process of redeeming Messiah, unfolding as a witness for the Shekhinah residing in all the earth and our planet and Israel. And I support myself and us on the pillar of Hod, making order in our lives, gathering all the forces from dispersion and setting them in the blessed Jerusalem, where we can offer our thanks to God's glory. And I base myself on the foundation of Yesod, you, us, to act righteously and justly, to assist every righteous effort in the world to become peaceful, to do the work for peace. And may all those affirmations be totally embodied. May the Shekhinah be present and the one offering these affirmations through me, through us, attracting a flow of blessings to suffuse your life and your ordination. For you, Rivka. Ken Yeri Ratzon.
Ken
Amen.
Yehi Ratzon.
Ken Yehi Ratzon.
Okay, that sound. Oh my.
Rivka, you have been legit since the moment I known you. You have been a legit as a conduit for divinity in all its forms. The God consciousness. You tap deeply into Shekinah that dwells within the earth. I have to just say, I'm still gaveling over the beautiful video you shared this morning that just displays your love of bringing people out into the natural wonders that allow us to connect with holiness in a way that is so needed now more than ever. We become more urbanized, more busy with our technology. I want to say that you have had the blessing throughout your studies to be gifting students, the B'nai Mitzvah students in particular. You have may those blessings of seeing how the soul evolves as you go through that process be for you nourishment as you go out now as a rabbi and feed people and help them find the depths of their own soul, the opportunities to grow spiritually, to connect in community. You have tremendous natural gifts of connecting people. And I witnessed that, I think, so many times in our in-person retreats, but I'm sometimes remembering our time together with Galia at the and Diane at the Body Mind Centering in Portland. I felt I got to know a whole new aspect of you and got to see how your movement work transforms. Is a transformative gift. So much more I could share. I remember reaching out to you this fall and you were too busy to see me, and now I know why. And good on you. Boundaries, Gavura, are so important to be a successful spiritual leader, and to know what you need to replenish yourself. I remember the teaching that I heard from some rabbis when I was exploring this back in 2000, 2004, 2005, whether I would go down this path. And it was like, you have to have your own people outside of the congregation you serve or the community you serve that can be your Hebrutic, that can be your spiritual body. So as you now move into this new phase, may you seek out those who are in that plateau that you're at and engaged in the challenges that plateau demands, that you keep replenishing yourself with those very important relationships. Celebrations, may the 12s always bring you lots of stars of glitter and light. And continue to dream. Baruch Hashem.
Beautiful blessing.
Amen. Yeah.
Welcome, Simona, just joining us. We transitioned from our ritual of Shloshim, and it's all recorded, so it'll be there for you to look at later. Welcome. We moved into, some people had to leave early, blessings for Rivka, knowing that by the next time we're together, God willing, she will be spooked, as we say.
That's right.
So, Rhonda, I can see you getting ready to open your mouth.
So, Rivka, I want to gift you with strength to really continue to hear your soul song and let it guide you as you move into this new role. Because you've been a rabbi, I mean, you've been a teacher for so many years. And I don't know in what context the next phase will take you, but that the constraints that sometimes come with being in a community or organization, that it doesn't limit you in any way, that you can keep feeling the wings of the Shekhinah supporting you and be lifting yourself and others up in the ways that you have so profoundly learned to do. So blessings on your next adventure. Hopefully not with so many hoops. And that that comes with lots of ease and grace, and it's like it nourishes you. Because I think the process of going through the training, although there is some nourishment, it's also pretty intense and draining. So I hope I want to give you lots of nourishing energy to carry you forward into this next chapter. So blessings on the way. I would love to be at the ceremony, but maybe online. I don't know. So be well, and may this last little tidbit finish easily.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Amen, amen.
Love to jump on the bandwagon. What a nice thing to come into. Yeah, many blessings. It's very apparent how dedicated you've been over the years and how much your neshama wants to do the work you're doing and how much you share with people, and totally from the heart, very spontaneous, right from the first time at ESEB that I met you and you were supporting the group and we worked together a little bit. It was such a delight, and really aware of your skills and your energy, and it seems like the perfect coming together of your life path and your soul path, and I'm so happy for you. And I just bless you with much ease and much creativity and flow, so you don't have to continue to just be like that, narrow, to really expand in the directions that your heart wants you to expand, not be so constrained by the training and the teaching. And just a little
Beautiful.
personal tidbit is I had heard about it from a Facebook post that I saw. And I got very personally excited because A, it's my birthday that day.
Ah,
And then I looked at the picture in the background, and it was of Stephen's taluses on the table that color that they Aleph had sent out. They took the picture, I guess, at the shook. So right from the beginning, I have felt connected to you, and I will continue for sure I don't know what I'm doing that day, but I'll continue to know that that's happening, and if I can check in online, I will.
Phew.
I just have to quickly say that I know Pinchas witnessed this. Evelyn, I don't remember if you actually had come, you were part of this, but when we did, when I was in the first cohort and I did the ritual, I buried some of my mother's ashes with, it was like burying, it was the literal burying of messages and things. And that moment was such a pivot moment. And there I was, I didn't plan this part of the ritual, standing in the middle of the labyrinth at Four Springs. And everybody was around me, and you and Diane were on either side of me, literally holding me as I just, it was like sobbing. And it was this moment that has always been one of the pivot moments that allowed that clearing to happen, that allowed me to release those voices that were getting in my way. So I just want to, thank you again hugely, Simona, as well as for all the teachings of Kabbalah that have infused my life and my learning and my teaching. Thank you.
Of course, I love you.
Well, whoa. So I would love to share this melody, if I can do it, that I've learned for the priestly blessing from B'nai Jeshurun. And then if you would just all join me in offering this blessing of protection, grace, and the sense of being shined on by the divine all the time. You can't always feel it, but it's there, it's there, and just have to open.
Blessing for Rivka.
Yeah, pores to that. And if you can't feel it, you have so many layers of support. You can reach out to any of us and any of so many other cohorts you've been part of to remind you that you are blessed, you are held, you are loved, you are love. We love you. We hold you. Yivarechecha v'yishmerecha.
Ken yehi ratzon.
Yair havaya panav elecha v'yichuneka.
Ken yehi ratzon.
Yisavaya panav elecha. Yasem lecha shalom. Yasem lecha shalom. Yasem lecha shalom.
Ken
And
yehi
he
ratzon.
Yehi ratzon.
I have to ask Rivka, is there a link to, is there an online version of the smicha ceremony?
I think so.
It is, and I think I can send it to everyone. Well, yeah, I will send it. I'll make sure you get it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
It seemed like Dorit was also there on.
Yes. Yes.
Dorit Hodaya is also. We
Yeah.
are getting smicha together, and
Yes.
Wow.
she and I, in our ceremony, we are combined our offering. So we're doing an embodied offering with a poem
Oh, lovely.
together.
Mhm.
And again,
That's
that
great.
came out of this. That's
Yeah,
where
it's wonderful.
Also, Rivka and Dorit did an independent study together with me, right? It was the two of you.
Mm.
No, it was
no.
you. You did it with someone else, and then Dorit did it with me the next semester, and somebody else. So anyway, you each did an independent study in festival liturgy with me, which was so wonderful to do that with you as well. Well, it's getting on toward 1 o'clock here, and we have a little more time, but we don't have to stay together. We don't have to use it. We're in the middle of the holidays, and I don't know if people would like to have that extra half an hour in your day.
I need to go.
Yeah, I think it's been pretty intense what we've done so far.
Beautiful.
And, yeah,
Beautiful.
just amazing. And just think about it for a minute. If communities functioned in this way, that it included the body and movement, and music and movement woven together, and movement and music and prayer woven together, how much deeper these connections would be. And many of us, some of us have known each other or been working together. I mean, Rhonda, it's been, wow,
25 years, maybe.
And others of us met, in the first cohort. So that was already 13 years ago.
18 years for me, I believe. 2006. When you taught together with Bert
At
Balsam
Ruach HaAretz, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I'm part of communities where people have been together that long, but they don't have this depth of connection because haven't moved together.
Well, I would also acknowledge your consistency with holding the container to gather us and taking time and from your life to really make sure that this has happened. I think that's added so much to it being a real continuity that's very solid. So I'm just acknowledging all of your extra work and time and energy to like through all that you've been through to not have given up and kept the container. Just
Yeah,
quite awesome.
very true. Right.
And the
Yeah.
depth that you're sharing, each time we come together, the invitation we receive beforehand is such a transparent and such a depth of your intentions that it invites us in such a powerful way.
Thank you.
That make me question, Diane, who is applying already to your invitation for the retreat in May next year?
Yeah, there's I'm a little frustrated because Olive has slowed me down. They haven't gotten it together, and
Oh,
I handed it over to Olive to administer, since Embodying Spirit is an Olive program ostensibly. And so we don't have the registration page yet, but I have about 6 or 7 people that are interested, and some of them are people from Embodying Spirit. Some of them are folks who know my work from the community here. And there's some younger folks, like there's Taproot. I mean, our retreat manager and assistant, Rivka's going to co-lead with me, and then Zaka Belloc, who knows me through Taproot, who's a wonderful. He's done the Tamalpa training, Anna Halperin's training, and he's living in the Bay Area now and really wanting to get an embodied Judaism study group going in the East Bay. So all that to say that hopefully there'll be some intergenerationality, and that Aleph is not going to price this out of the range of younger people.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, I know. I would have done it for much cheaper, I think. Anyway, but I wanted to say, first of all, thank you for the acknowledgement. And it does take, as you all know, because you do this in many realms, that kind of persistence, that netzach, to
Yes.
going even when you don't feel like it, even when life is pulling you in other ways. And it's also this synergy, because I am, it's your energies coming toward me too. And the desire, that whatever it is, I think it's pure vote, whatever, more than the cow wants to give milk, the cat, more
It's
than
a
the
circle.
whatever,
Yes.
more than the
Calf wants to nurse, the mother wants to nurse the
mother
calf.
wants to be nursed. So anyway, you know what I meant.
It's just so true.
So it's that continuing desire for more that gives me the courage and the stamina to keep going, and my own obsessions, of course.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you for asking the question, because that was a burning question on my mind. And now hearing where things are at, I feel like it's a hopeful. Baruch Hashem, that I will be able to sign up. I have made a major life shift. I have completed my 6 years with the city of Tacoma, and celebrated a retirement party in the 8 to 5 world. So yes, that's
Yay.
Oh, man.
Congratulations.
Tuesday afternoon, I am released. So yes, my
I shall-
opportunities
Wow.
to serve in other ways becomes possible. So thank you, Carola.
Yeah, that's good.
I would say, as soon as we get that registration page out, I'll let you know. And I'm going to encourage people to sign up right away, because we're limiting it to 18 spots. So it can be, real. And
Exciting to know somebody else who was born male who is interested in being part of it. Is that who you were talking about from the younger program? Mm-hmm.
yeah, Zaka,
Mm-hmm.
he's amazing. You'll love him. He cut his teeth in Taproot, and I think particularly on the day that we did some embodied prayer practice, and I had people work with a talit, and most of the folks in Taproot come in feeling either ignorant or alienated, so they need a lot of space. And because he already had this movement background, and he's facilitated some stuff on the retreat, so I know he's the real deal. And he went nuts over this just experience of a talit, getting to smell it, and touch it, and he was just sobbing, so
Wow.
Yeah, he's been through a lot. So yeah, you will have at least one cis male. Man. Maybe more, who knows? But yeah, and I'm sad everybody can't come, but it's not so practical always in this day and age to travel long distances, and also people have other commitments right now already. So
Yeah.
a lot to look forward to.
I would be remiss without saying, Diane, that you are such a model for how to grieve deeply and to continue the work in the world. It is your gift. It is unbelievable. I was able to attend the Living in the Presence release launch party at Kahila, and that was just amazing. Yeah, and we come out with another retreat so soon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Our lives and our time here on this earth is so precious, and you are a model for
too. And Bert modeled for me, even in the valley of the shadow of death, how to bring it to fruition, how to complete. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing us together. And even though we're not learning about Hanukkah, we're bringing lots of light in today. So
we are the candles. That was the teaching. So
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
We are the fire.
I'll lead the somatization next time, which is really about the central column, and it never goes out of style, even if we're not in Hanukkah anymore. So
that's true.
Right. Beautiful.
Okay, lots of love.
All right, lots of love. Hugs.
Beautiful to see you, Simona. So glad you could be with us, Simona.
Birthday and safe travel.
Yeah.
Yes, and a wonderful smicha and
Wonderful.
happy anniversary.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Birthday.
Yes.
You all have a good week, and still happy Hanukkah for the
Happy
day.
Hanukkah, Happy New Year, all in one breath. Yeah.
All right.
Bye.
Be well.